Hello and welcome to the Compute Story Tool overview video. In this video, I will be talking a little bit about what is the purpose of this tool, how you can use it to make your authoring life a little bit easier. Okay. So the purpose of this tool is to essentially automate part of this authoring process that we do specifically in the beginning of the creation of a scenario, right? And so the idea is that you can write a small description of what we want to happen in the scenario, and the tool will be able to compute it and output something that is readable to Fatima. Okay. And so the first thing to do is go over here to Tools, Compute Description, and then this small window will open up, and you are able to connect to the server. Okay. The server is running a Python application. This Python application will essentially read your output or your input in this case, and essentially compute it into something that Fatima can read. And so the idea is that you can write here some examples of what you want to happen, or even the whole story. So let's see what happens. So Peter is hungry. Peter wants to go to a restaurant. I don't think this needs to be new lines, but we'll see. And then we can also introduce the other agents. So for instance, Peter likes Sarah. And Sarah is interested in going to the beach, maybe. Of course, the scenarios are really simple, and this story is like pretty straightforward. But this also provides examples of behavior so that then when you go and try to author these things, you can change and you can add complexity to it, right? As a scientist, Sarah loves hamburgers. And we'll see what happens. So this is, once again, really simple, and this is still like, we're still trying to test around different versions. So he will compute this story, and then he will output something, okay? And here we have agent Peter, the beliefs of that Peter likes Sarah, which is true. He has the goal of going to a restaurant. You can see here because we said that he wants to go to a restaurant. And then we have a status, which essentially is a belief, is that is Peter hungry? This is true. So Peter is hungry, okay? And then Sarah is a scientist, which is true. And she is feeling an emotion towards hamburger, because when I say that she loves something, she's essentially loving hamburgers. So she feels an emotion of love. Usually you could say something like this. You could even add it here. And then we also have these different concepts that the tool tries to extract. So what is a restaurant, what is a scientist, and what is a hamburger? And so far it's pretty good. And the cool thing about this is that you can change anything here, and then the toolkit will be able to read it. So maybe if I'm missing information here that I want to add it here, I can add it instead of going to the toolkit and then add it. So if we keep all of this, everything should work out. So maybe here, this is not regarding emotions, this is regarding beliefs, I would say. And we have the belief that loves hamburgers, and that's it. Okay. And then over here, scientist, let's say it's a job for the sake of it, okay? And then if I'm confident on what I've written here, then I'll press confirm. And essentially the toolkit will add all of these things to the scenario. And I can say, go here to Peter, and Peter knowledge base is already filled with some sort of stuff, right? We know that he likes Sarah. We know that he's hungry. And we also know that restaurant is a place, scientist is a job, and hamburger is food. This is good for when we are creating decision-making actions, right? And let's go over here to Sarah, like, so she loves hamburgers. She is a scientist. And restaurant is a place and a job. And you can see here that instead of having an emotion here regarding the hamburgers, I change it to a belief, essentially. Okay. Another cool thing is that I can also continuously add stuff to the scenario, right? So okay, so now let's say that I have John. John works in a restaurant. Let's see if this works. And also he has odd actions that we want to try to make. So John brings food to clients. John drives a car, for instance. Oh, I forgot to connect to the server, of course. Okay, so let's compute the story and let's see what it outputs. So we have John, which has no beliefs, which is weird. So here, once it failed, I guess, because it should be a belief where he works in a restaurant. But of course, the tool is not able to do all this complex stuff. But he has 2 actions, which is good. Number 1, bring food, and the target type is food, which is perfect. And location is clients. This is kind of bad, but we can say that the restaurant is the location, right? And we also have an action, drive a car, and he thinks car is an instrument, but that's not true. We can say, let's say it's a vehicle. And over here we have food equals food, but we already know this, I guess. But let's say that this is a vehicle. Okay. Location default, so there's no location in the action, but we'll see what this makes. Okay. So now we have John, perfect. And now we have another cool thing is that we added action rules to the scenario. So here in the decision making, we have an action called bring, and we know that the target must be food, right? And we know that he needs to be, the agent that executes this action needs to be at the restaurant. And our thing is that for you to drive, the target must be a vehicle. Okay. Now this all depends on how you guys want to, guys and girls, and whatever you want to be. However you want to essentially make the beliefs in your scenario, or how you want ontology to work here. So for instance, I could change the beliefs. So is food food? This doesn't make sense. And it's funny because he doesn't have the other beliefs here. I could add them though. So he knows that the car is vehicle, but I could do other things. I could even add other stuff here. But essentially, this needs to be consistent to what I want to happen here in the action rules, right? Just like the other stuff. So for instance, is target vehicle? Sure. But here, does it make sense for him to drive at something? Or does it make sense to drive using a vehicle to somewhere? So what I would do is that instead of, I would edit this rule to add complexity. And here I put vehicle, right? So we know that he's driving something towards the target. And what I would do here is that is target place, right, equals true. And then I would say that is vehicle. Sounds weird. Right? Makes sense? So the cool thing is, once again, that you have this output computed automatically by the pipeline. You can change this output, and then after he's being added to Fatima, you can also change it just like you would edit any scenario, okay? And I want to keep this video very light, so I think I'll end it here. You can know more about this tool in the website, okay? And my camera stopped working. Okay, now. Yeah, okay, it's messing it out, but essentially if I go to fatimatoolkit.eu, I can put it here, and over here in the get started, and then here you'll find the compute story page, and here I add a little bit more description of what you guys can do. Okay, and that's it for me. I would like to say goodbye, but my camera is weirding it out. And essentially try it by yourselves and tell me if you're not reaching the server, tell me, send me an email. But try the tool by yourselves, as many people as possible. What I mean is the more the merrier, okay? So we can even fix it and add it more powerfulness, okay? Cool, that's it for me. Thank you for watching.